Hello everyone! Welcome to the second part of Have You Ever Regretted Dating Me challenge. Not much to say to this one, so let's just get into it, shall we? As always, special thanks to my lovely patrons and all of you who still watch my videos. Don't forget to subscribe to keep up with the uploads, and I hope you will enjoy this. Once again, Kunime found himself trailing next to Kindaichi on the already familiar path to the hospital, as usual heading to the maternity ward. Under normal circumstances, Kunime would maybe even look forward to seeing Hiroto again, as the little boy was making incredible progress and growing like a bamboo. However, his mind was overflowing with thoughts today. The challenge reminded him of a few unpleasant moments in their past, namely the one time Kindaichi startled him by announcing he believed Kunime deserved better than him, and more importantly, of the cursed hurt prank and what followed after it. He avoided thinking back to those few days as much as he could, but the reality was, Kindaichi was seriously mad at him back then, enough to leave their home completely. And even though he apologized for it countless times since then, and that Kunime didn't have the heart to blame him for his reaction, he wondered whether those were the moments when Kindaichi regretted being with him. It wouldn't be a surprise. And these days... Okay. He snapped out of his thoughts, finding himself standing in front of the maternity ward door already, and Kindaichi looking at him with concern. What? Nothing, just... You look out of it today. Is everything okay? Does something hurt again? No, it's fine. Just thinking about something, that's all. Kindaichi didn't seem convinced, but apparently decided not to push the matter right now and instead pressed the doorbell to announce their arrival. He did, however, took hold of Kunime's hand as they walked through the hallway, gently rubbing his knuckles like he always did when he wanted to show support. It melted Kunime's heart a little, guilt stinging in his chest for making his fiancée worry again. Yet the thoughts didn't go away. Not even when they finally arrived at the room where Hiroto was peacefully snoozing after lunch. On the contrary, they only became stronger the longer he watched Kindaichi's dreamy look in the baby boy's direction. Can I ask you something? Of course. He felt awful for ruining the sweet moment with this, but if they really wanted to adopt the little boy, things like this couldn't hang between them, right? Have you ever regretted dating me? Kindaichi's face froze in what Kunime could only describe as horror. Regretted? No, of course not. Why? You were mad back then. Enough to leave. And I keep messing up all the time. Isn't it getting too much? His voice hitched, stuck in his throat like a giant lump of emotions tangled together. Kindaichi didn't seem to do much better, panic settling in his eyes. Well, there was a moment after a prank you did when I was wondering if I shouldn't throw the ring away. But it was just a moment, I swear, and it wasn't regret. I could never regret being with you, no matter what happened or will happen in the future. Visibly struggling to keep himself somewhat composed, he grabbed Kunime's hand, squeezing it tight. I'm sorry if I did something to make you think like this. I wouldn't be surprised if you had regrets with how awful I am to you sometimes. I don't. I could never. Biting hard on his lip, he slumped against Kindaichi, relief flooding his body when the strong arms pulled him as close as physically possible. Hearing Kindaichi admit it out loud hurt, sure. But there wasn't a single cell of his being that would blame him or be upset. Especially not when he seemed to be troubled with the same exact guilt. Perhaps they really were perfect for each other. In things good and in things bad. Reminded of the past similar challenge he did ages ago, so he found himself in the exact same situation as back then. Home in their Tokyo apartment, preparing his laptop to call Noya, who was currently traveling somewhere in South America, and his mind filled with the exact same worry as before. But the question was slightly different this time, and the answer could be as well. After all, starting to date was one thing, but this question would include the whole of 7 years they've been together. And that was a lot of time for regrets. Don't be so pessimistic. As if you would stay with someone he would regret dating. Though he's not really staying. He's always somewhere out there. Might be his way of taking a break. The thought scared him. Considering how many trips Noya did in a year, it would mean he preferred staying far away as often as he could. Sure, he said it several times he loved coming back home, but he never stayed for too long. Maybe. He shook his head to chase the creeping gloom away, and instead focused on the slowly connecting video call. A soft smile curled his lips when Noya's face popped up on the screen, looking as excited as ever. Asahi, right on time, look! Isn't it beautiful here? He turned the camera around, allowing Asahi to see the long, empty beach and steep cliffs covered in some tropical vegetation. The ocean hummed as the small waves crashed against the sand, and Asahi could about think he just got transported into the dinosaur age. It looks amazing. Right? The locals said there are jellyfish in the water here, so no one really goes near. But the beach is awesome on its own. Just please don't go into the water if there really are jellyfish. Noya chuckled, but stayed far away from the water to not spike Asahi's heartbeat. No worries, I don't want to ruin the whole trip because I get stung. Right. The trip that was to last for another 3 weeks, and followed by another within the following few days of coming home. You could have gone with him. He offered to take you along. Asahi? Huh? You spaced out. Worry laced Noya's voice as his face appeared on the camera again. What's wrong? You aren't thinking something bad about yourself again, are you? Not really. I was just wondering, have you ever regretted dating me? What? What are you talking about? He clenched his jaw, staring right into the camera and into Asahi's soul. Is this about you feeling bad for not coming with me again? I told you before, didn't I? That I don't mind. That I love coming home where I know you are waiting for me. I don't know how I have to spell it out for you to believe me. Like, what else do I have to do? Asahi flinched, the anger in Noya's words surprising him. Sure, he knew his anxiety had to get annoying, but he couldn't recall a time when Noya would sound genuinely upset because of it. I guess that's your answer. I see. Wait! The call ended before Noya could finish, but perhaps it was for the best. Letting out a shaky sigh, Asahi rubbed his face to hopefully settle a little bit, silently cursing himself for ruining Noya's trip. Again. If there ever was time when to not ask this question, it was probably right now. Even if Aone hadn't regretted their relationship in the long years they've spent together since high school, now was definitely the time when he could. After all, it seemed to be the only thing standing between him and his dream of having a family of his own. Despite all reassurances Aone told him over the years, Kenji couldn't shake off the bad feeling sinking his stomach whenever he watched his fiancée slump over yet another rejection. He wanted to be there for him, tried his best, really. But deep down, he wondered if he even had the right to offer comfort in this case. I guess at least it's going to be clear. I won't have to guess anymore and act accordingly. That's a good thing, right? A good thing which his apparently fragile heart didn't have to survive. He spent the whole day collecting courage to ask the question he knew had potential to destroy him, yet his throat closed the moment he met with Aone in front of their workplace. You are early today. A small smile tucked in the corner of Aone's mouth as he shrugged, almost immediately pulling Kenji closer for a kiss. Ended early. Oh, you should have texted me. I could have gone home on my own. Aone shook his head rather vehemently at that, his expression not allowing anything like that. I've always waited for you. Today's no different. Right. He sighed, torn. The current peace was nice, allowing him to hope that things weren't actually as bad as he imagined. But everything could change in a blink of an eye with just one message or a call. Then he would be in the extra peace in the way again, no matter how well he masked the places where he lacked. He had to know, even if it was about to tear his heart in half. Can I ask you something? Tilting his head, Aone nodded, the smile disappearing from his face. With how things are right now, have you ever regretted dating me? He forced a smile, wondering if he only imagined the horror flashing through Aone's eyes. I mean, if it wasn't for it, you could have already have a family. You wouldn't even have to bother with adoption. And I've done my share of annoying things too, so I wouldn't blame you in the least if... The rest of the sentence turned into a muffled yelp as his face got smashed into Aone's work clothes, the strong arms wrapped around him, preventing him from running away. Stop. Please stop. Kenji froze, shaken by the strange tone. But... Stop. Don't say things like that. He cupped Kenji's face, his grip wavering as if he had to fight himself to not squeeze too much. But that wasn't what stunned Kenji. Rather, it was the panicked, almost scared look in Aone's otherwise always calm eyes, looking at him as if he was close to crumbling down. I've been awful because of the adoption, I know, but you are the only priority I have. Children or not, you are my family. I've never regretted that. Are you sure? I know you've always wanted kids, I wouldn't. Once again, he was silenced mid-sentence, this time with the gentlest, yet so urgent touch of Aone's lips against his. It chased tears into his eyes, even more when Aone left their foreheads leaned together, cradling his face as if nothing else in the world mattered. Let's go home. Huh? I need to do something, but first I need to show you how much you mean to me. Oh. His face warming up, he subconsciously leaned into the touch on his cheeks, cherishing the moment like the most precious treasure before Aone tugged on his hand to make him move towards their house. Using the as of lately rare occasion when both of them had a free while to ask a question like this seemed almost too harsh in Ushijima's opinion. After all, no matter which way he looked at the challenge, it was going to bring some gloom along with it, regardless of what Tendo's answer would be. Worst case scenario, he would get his deepest worries confirmed. He wasn't an ideal partner, he knew that since he had enough mind to think about stuff like that. As happy as he was about Tendo apparently finding something worth loving in him, there was no denying it that he was far from the kind of partner his fiancée deserved. Yet the happy glint in Tendo's eyes whenever they saw each other, and the fact he flew all the way from Paris to Poland just to be with him when he was still recovering, gave him hope that things were much better than he thought. Only one way to learn that, I suppose. He checked the clock to make sure he was calling at the right time, and then finally dialed Tendo's number, glad his ear still gave him an excuse to do a video call. It only took a few beeps for the line to connect, and Tendo's face to appear on the screen. Hello, Miracle. I was wondering when you'll finally call. I'm sorry, I had to check on something with the manager. It's fine. I hope everything went well. They're still keeping you on the sick list, aren't they? Yes, for at least another 2 weeks. Okay, that's good. Not that I don't wish to see you play again, but better not risk anything. That last week... He left the sentence trail into silence, but Ushijima knew what he was referring to too well. It was by his own recklessness that he almost ended up back in the hospital with a split head after he rushed his return to practice too much and got a horrible fit of vertigo. Tendo gave him an earful for it back then, though he wasn't that dense to not recognize the worry in his fiancée's voice. I'm being careful, I promise. You better be. One scare was enough. I'm sorry. But say, would something like that make you regret dating me? Or anything else that I do? Tendo visibly stilled, his eyes widening a fraction. Perhaps it was because of the way he asked, but he had to. He would never forgive himself if he ever did something that would make Tendo regret giving him his heart. No, of course not. What kind of question is that? Well, there are better options. It pained him greatly to say that out loud. Just imagining losing Tendo to someone made his heart heavy. But the truth was, he wouldn't stop him if it really happened. Just like his parents knew divorce was the best way to deal with their differences, so would he never hold his beloved back, no matter how much pain it would cause him. Hey, don't you dare to space out on me now. Look me in the eyes and listen, okay? You are my miracle in more ways than just volleyball related. And you are too innocent to do anything close to what might make me regret being with you. I've loved you for almost a decade now, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Is that clear? Ushijima nodded, a small smile making its way to his face. Crystal clear. Good. Now, tell me what's up in Poland. Anything interesting? Concerned about the amount of challenges he was getting roped into, Taichi spent a considerable amount of time preparing for this one. Unlike the previous ones where he was quite sure of what Hayato would tell him, this one was different. It was about regret, something sneaky and creeping from the shadows of their daily problems, for which he was usually the sole cause. Taking his constant health issues into consideration, he would be surprised if Hayato didn't regret getting together with him at least occasionally. After all, his husband was a lively guy, cheerful and people-loving to a fault. Spending his time with someone like Taichi had to be draining. Draining stuff led to exhaustion, and exhaustion rarely waited too long for a regret to follow. Still, he dared to have hope that Hayato's bubbly nature overpowered that, even if he did have regrets sometimes. Hence why he stayed for so long, right? Right? One way to find out. I hope he won't get too worried. With that, he tapped his foot into the floor, waiting for Hayato to finish his exercise. Didn't take long, and the footsteps sounding behind his back announced Hayato's arrival. If he couldn't tell by the kiss landing on his temple and the arms wrapping around him like a blanket. Why are you sitting here in silence? I don't know. I didn't think of turning on the TV, I guess. Something on your mind? Kinda. Humming, Hayato kissed him again and then circled the couch to sit next to him, not letting go of his hand for even a split second. Share if you want. I'll listen. Taking a deep breath, Taichi took a moment to collect his thoughts and to steel his mind against the worst answers he could get, before he looked up again to meet Hayato's eyes. I was just wondering, with everything that happened over the years and with my health issues and all that, isn't it getting tiring sometimes? Confused crease appeared between Hayato's eyebrows. I don't understand what you are asking about. If you ever regret you chose me to date, that's what I mean. Hayato stared at him for a while without a word or movement, before a heavy sigh escaped his mouth, and soon Taichi found himself engulfed in the warmest embrace he knew. Two things. One, I didn't choose you, my heart did, and I've never been more grateful for it. And two, I love you too much to ever let any regret in. I know we had some tough times and that your health isn't the best, but that doesn't change anything. Every day with you is like a blessing, and I sure hope it's going to continue until we are both old and grey. He said it with such certainty Taichi would almost smile if he wasn't already busy with trying to contain the pressure building behind his eyes. It seemed so simple when Hayato said it, so much so that he could almost believe it. Before he could start to overthink too much, Hayato lifted his chin to make him look up, his eyes soft and sincere. I know you're only thinking about your own mistakes right now, but I bet I could make as long of a list counting my mistakes. That's just how it is sometimes. It's nothing worth regretting. Not when there's so much nice stuff to focus on. So don't bother yourself with the bad and think of the good things, Unsure if he should cry or smile, Taichi all but melted into the kiss, his heart skipping a beat when Hayato caressed his cheek. Let's get some good stuff on the list tonight, what do you say? That sounds good. For the most part, Oikawa went along with the challenge to avoid having to argue with Suna about it. Yet, deep down, a quiet but persistent voice nudged him to ask for real. If only because of what happened between them in the recent past. Now, the last thing he wanted was to drag out some hidden feelings of disdain and regret that Iwaizumi might have felt before, risking setting them back when things finally looked good again. However, moving forward without addressing the hidden feelings might cause issues later on. He didn't want that. And so he waited impatiently for Iwaizumi to come home, pacing around the living room in circles like a wild cat in a zoo, trying to sort his thoughts. He's going to understand that, right? He's smart. He'll know why I'm asking that. Hopefully his lightels are still the same. He shook his head just as the front door opened, letting rather tired-looking Iwaizumi in. Hey. Hi, welcome home. What's with the long face? I'm beat. The kids were horrible today. I couldn't get them to listen with anything. He let out a long, exhausted sigh as he slumped on the couch, closing his eyes for a while, and Oikawa couldn't help but stare at the tired lines along his otherwise handsome features. Though he supposed not all of those were from today's class. After all, they were getting older, and they both felt it, even though they couldn't really complain yet. Come here, I need some snuggles. Oikawa chuckled quietly and slid on the couch and into Iwaizumi's waiting arms, settling comfortably into the warmest nest of biceps and pecs. Almost as if nothing bad happened. Better? Much. Okay. So, how about you answer me a question, then you take a shower, and I'll make us something nice in the meantime. Humming, Iwaizumi cracked one eye open before he nodded at him to continue. Now that he was actually going to ask, Oikawa's heart hammered in his chest as if he'd just finished practice, all kinds of different scenarios swirling in his mind. Was it really okay to ask that now? He startled when a calloused hand cupped his cheek. Hey, what is it? The gentle tone and even softer look in those otherwise sharp green eyes were enough to loosen the lump settled in Oikawa's throat, finally letting the words out. I was just reminiscing a little and I wondered if there was a time when you regretted dating me. Imagining that it was the case hurt like all hell, especially since it would most definitely be his own fault. Yet there was also relief in his chest, lifting some of the firmly settled weight from his heart. Iwaizumi watched him for a moment with confusion written all over his face, before it got replaced with understanding and sorrow. No, I told you before, I was confused and hurt that you would think I could betray you so easily after so long. But it wasn't regret. Even when you were leaving to Argentina back then, I didn't think I should have dated someone else to save myself the pain. Besides, I'm used to your annoying ass by now, so I don't know what you would have to do to make me actually regret. Half offended by the last remark, half barely holding himself upright as relief rushed through his whole body, Oikawa leaned back into the embrace, closing his eyes too for a while to listen to Iwaizumi's heartbeat. It was steady and as strong as ever, chasing away all the dark thoughts from his mind. Thanks. That means a lot. To that, Iwaizumi smiled and pulled him closer, leaving a kiss in his hair. Shower and dinner were apparently going to wait. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy it. I'm slightly more content with this part than the previous one. I mean, like, angst-wise. Still not there where I wanted to be, But we are getting there, slowly but surely. If you have any requests or ideas, the request form is linked in the video description. See you next time.